Good morning. This is our session number 9. I am going to wait a little bit for the students. So let's see. Good morning, Carlos. How are you today? Hello, Tito. How are you today?
Hello, teacher Lina. Good day. I am very well. Thank you. And
Okay,
you?
very good. Thanks. What about you, Carlos? How are you?
Hello, everybody. Teacher, sorry, but I had a problem with internet connection in this tower. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about that. So you have a homework to do. Tito, which process did you choose?
Uh, Teacher, this is a very
Okay,
good
teacher, I choose number
exercise.
one.
Sorry.
This is a very good exercise. I have to think about this process and activity.
Yes.
Uh, I I have a lot of I take to a lot of time in this process.
Okay, very good. Tell me about the time when you gave to someone a surprise, Tito.
Oh, uh, when I'm surprised with this homework, I have forgotten I to do it. I thought the teacher said in the last class because I believed that the last class was on Tuesday. And oh my God, I, now I will do already. I have an idea. Today I am telling the teacher and my partners my situation, and I worried about I haven't practiced new vocabulary
Okay,
and neither organized my speech.
but
Uh,
it's okay. Actually, you are doing very well. So don't
uh,
worry.
and I'm building the story. My story is really true. Uh, I saw it should be there really in a few moments. So this moment, at this moment, is ready. And I scared today. I will, and I think will everything good, everything and everyone. Uh, it is so good. This is my story. Uh,
Okay, very good. It's good. It's good. Actually, it's nice. You surprised me. So, what about you, Carlos?
What is the question, teacher?
Your question was, let me check.
Number one, yes?
Yes, tell me about the perfect day that you had.
Okay. Okay, teacher. I had a perfect date 1 month ago when I met with God and met the God in the special occasion. I could knew about the most important reasons. From the example, I thank him about all my heart, my life, and the life that the person I love too much. Yes,
Yes,
I I was visiting a beautiful place in this moment. I couldn't to meet many important people from my life. For example, I could meet people from the other places around the country. Now, I think this was probably the most important dates for me. So, besides, when it's raining, for me, it's really romantic time. In this moment was raining a lot all day, so I really love it that.
Okay, very good. Excellent, actually. And this kind of exercise help us to pronounce our vocabulary, try to be fluent, try to use different kind of words that connect our message or our ideas or talks. So this is really important for us to practice, even if you are at home or if you are alone, you can practice with a mirror. You can start to talk about different kind of activities or moments in your life. So you can try to remember stuff that you maybe forget, and you can start to practice the second language. Okay, this is really important for us and it's necessary if we want to start to practice our second language. Okay, so very good, both of you. I like your histories. And now we are going to start the topic for today. This topic is really nice. Let me, Carlos, you can turn your microphone off, please.
Yes, teacher.
Thank you. And I will share with you the topic for today is listening skills. This is really important for the second language because we need to understand what the other say, what the other speak. So the listening skill is really interesting and important for us. So this is the topic number 9, and I will show you a video about it. Okay. This is 5 steps to improve our listening skill. So let's check it out, and after I will ask you some questions. Okay.
Hi, I'm Kasia. Welcome to Oxford Online English. In this lesson, you're going to learn how you can improve your English listening.
You'll see simple, effective tips that anyone can use to improve their English listening skills. We'll also give you a practical, easy-to-follow study plan to help you improve your English listening fast.
But first, let's start with some questions. I'm going to ask you about 4 different situations where you would hear spoken English. You should think about whether understanding spoken English would be easy or difficult for you. Okay? First, you're listening to an English teacher speaking British English, speaking slowly and clearly. Easy or difficult?
Next, you're listening to a native English speaker from Scotland who speaks with a Scottish accent and also uses a lot of slang and idiomatic English. What do you think? Would this be easy or difficult for you?
Next, you're on a train. There are 4 non-native speakers from 4 different countries talking to each other. They have different accents. Do you think you could understand their conversation? Would it depend on where they were from?
Finally, you're listening to a news show on the radio or as a podcast. There are many different speakers, and of course, you can't see them. They're talking fast, using a lot of less common vocabulary and changing topics often. How would you find this?
Probably, most of you think that the first situation is the easiest and the last situation is the hardest. However, a lot depends on you and your experiences. The big question is, what can you do in those difficult situations? You've been studying English for years, but you still can't understand everything you hear. We get it. It's frustrating. So what can you do?
Here's a question. If you worry a lot about your English listening, Will it make your English listening better? No, of course not.
Many English learners get very stressed and anxious when they can't understand something. This doesn't help your English listening, and it can even make it more difficult to understand spoken English.
To understand a foreign language, you need 100% of your brain power. Why can't I understand this? What was that word he just used? They're speaking too quickly. If you're worrying and thinking thoughts like this, you aren't concentrating on listening.
You're focusing on your own worries and thoughts, and not on what you're hearing. This makes it harder to understand, not easier. So relax. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, you don't. It's not the end of the world. By relaxing and focusing 100% on what you're hearing, you have the best chance to understand.
Bom, tirando fotos de aves e animais, que modo de disparo você prefere?
Depende. A prioridade do obturador é boa para congelar o movimento. Por exemplo, esses pássaros que batem as asas rapidamente.
That's Portuguese, if you didn't know. I don't know one word of Portuguese, so I can't understand anything she's saying. Is that a problem? No. Am I worried or stressed? No. If I listen carefully, I can hear a few words which sound kind of familiar, so I could maybe guess the topic in a very general way.
Take the same attitude when listening to English. If you don't understand, there's nothing you can do about it. So relax. Being relaxed and focused gives you the best chance to understand what you hear.
Remember, you need 100% of your brain power to understand spoken English or any foreign language. You know what takes a lot of brain power? Translating English into your language. So you can't do both.
Professional interpreters who translate spoken language as they hear it have a very difficult job. In fact, they can only work a few hours a day because it requires so much concentration. If you listen to English and try to translate it into your own language at the same time, you're trying to be a professional interpreter, except you haven't had the years of training that they've had.
Also, you're not getting paid like they are. Doesn't sound like a good deal, right? Again, when you're listening to spoken English, just listen. Don't do anything else. Don't try to translate things. Don't worry about words you don't know. Don't think about things you didn't hear. Just listen.
Want to know a simple secret about understanding spoken English? You don't have to understand what someone said to understand what they mean.
Wait, what? It's true. Very often I see English learners focusing too much on the things they don't understand. I hear things like, there was a word I didn't know, so I couldn't understand.
Here's the thing. Understanding doesn't just depend on listening. Very often, there are other things that you can use. For example, if you're face-to-face with someone, you can use their body language, tone of voice, facial expressions to help you understand what they mean.
Also, think about the situation you're in. What is the other person likely to say? What words are they likely to use? For example, imagine you're at the airport. You're checking in for your flight. What questions might you expect to hear?
You'd probably hear questions like, did you pack these bags yourself? Have you already checked in online? Would you like an aisle seat or a window seat? Imagine you hear the last question, but you don't know what aisle means. Even if you've never heard the word before, it shouldn't stop you from understanding the question. You know that there are two choices, aisle seat or window seat. You know what window seat means. You know that aisle seat must mean something different from window seat, so you can work it out.
Similarly, imagine you hear this. Have you checked in online? Chicken? Did he say chicken? That doesn't make sense. Right, it doesn't make sense. So probably the person behind the check-in desk didn't say chicken. You probably said check-in, because that's what you're doing. You're checking in for your flight.
So, when you're listening to spoken English, use everything you can to help you understand. Don't think, I don't understand one word, so I can't understand anything. It's just not true.
At the beginning of this lesson, we looked at different situations where it might be easier or more difficult for you to understand spoken English. Generally, if you're familiar with something, it'll be easier to understand. For example, if you learn English from a teacher and your teacher is male and British, you'll probably find male British voices easier to understand. On the other hand, you might find female voices slightly more difficult. You might find other accents like American voices or Australian voices harder to understand. So, what's the solution?
Very simple. Listen to as many different voices as possible. Don't limit yourself. If you only listen to one kind of English, you'll be good at understanding one kind of English. So, listen to different kinds of English. Listen to English people from the north, south, east, and west of the country. Listen to Scottish speakers, Welsh speakers, Irish speakers. Listen to men, women, and children. Listen to Americans, Australians, Canadians, and South Africans. Listen to Indian, Chinese, Russian, or Brazilian English speakers.
What's that? You only want to listen to native English? Fine, but remember that more English is spoken between non-native speakers in the world today. So it could be a very good use of your time to listen to non-native English as well. It's not just about listening to different voices. You should listen to as many different formats and sources as possible. So, listen to songs, TV shows, films, audiobooks, textbook exercises, and anything else you can find.
All of the advice in this lesson will help you improve your English listening, but you also need a practical plan to work on your English listening. Let's make a plan together. Ready? It's very simple. You just need to follow 2 rules. Rule number 1, do something every day. Rule number 2, do something different every day. Easy, right?
But I don't have time.
You don't need much time. If you have 10 minutes a day, spend 10 minutes a day. Of course, more is better, but be realistic. Don't say you're going to spend an hour a day on English listening practice unless you're sure you'll do it. Good target is 15-20 minutes a day. This is not too much, so it should be easy to stick to. It's also enough to get better and improve. Well, what about the second rule?
You need to do something different every day so that you listen to different sources and different voices. If you do the same thing every day, you won't get enough variety. Here's what your listening plan for 1 week could look like. Monday, listen to 1 or 2 songs 2 to 3 times each. Tuesday, listen to a podcast with American voices. Wednesday, watch 15 minutes of a TV show from the UK. Thursday, do a listening exercise from a textbook. Friday, watch 15 minutes of a news show. Saturday, watch 15 minutes of an old movie. Sunday, call a friend and spend 15 minutes speaking in English. This is just an example. Your plan will be different. That's fine.
Here are some questions you probably have.
Where do I get materials?
Easy. Get on Google or the search engine of your choice. There's a lot of stuff out there which is free if you have an internet connection. Yes, you have to work a little to find materials that will suit you. That's necessary because you should choose your own listening materials.
How do I choose something which is the right level?
There's a good rule here. The first time you listen to something, you should be able to understand more than 50% and less than 90%. If you can't understand half of what you hear the first time you listen, then it's too difficult. If you understand more than 90% the first time you listen, then it's too easy. So try to choose materials which are in this range.
How do I stick to my plan and make sure I don't give up?
Make your plan at the start of the week. Write it down. Stick it somewhere in your home, for example, on the wall or on your fridge. Think about what time of day you should do your English practice. Are you better in the mornings or in the evenings? Try to do your listening practice when your brain is at its best. Then, when you do your listening practice each day, cross it off your plan. That way, you'll see what you're doing every day. You won't want to miss a day.
If you have good ideas for things to listen to in English, please share your suggestions with other English learners in the video comments. Did you enjoy this lesson? Don't forget to check out our website for more.
Okay, this is the video for today. It's some steps to improve our listening skill. And I think this is necessary because sometimes we can feel worried about that. So it's necessary to listen. Actually, this is the best idea that we have to improve our listening skill. For example, when you can listen music, different kind of songs in English, you can practice, you can hear some words that are familiar for you. So it's necessary to listen. You can practice like they mentioned, or you can practice if you have some music, some songs, or if you want to hear some podcasts, some audios. It's necessary just to hear. As they mentioned, it's important to hear different kind of accents. I had the opportunity to hear some different kind of accents. It's really important because sometimes the UK accent is really, really hard and difficult to understand. So this is important for us as a future teachers. Try to find some interesting videos at internet, or if you have the opportunity to change the language in your TV, this will help a lot. Even if you don't understand some words, you can understand the meaning of the conversation or the video. This is really important, okay? So, Tito, do you have any questions?
No, teacher. The video is very important when you explain. And I like the plan from the week. It's very important. I don't have listened so much. In this year, I have worked more and listen. I have listened news in BBC radio, and I study from Duolingo, and I had fluency and skills language.
Yes, it's important to practice because, of course, this is one of the important skills. If you are talking with someone and you don't understand this person, you can feel blocked or lost, or you can feel blank. So it's important to this kind of skill, and you can practice, like you mentioned, in Duolingo, I had a program here in my cell phone, for example. It's about news in English, but they are nice news, not like in the regular news. It's EN News CNN, and they can practice with some news that are important for me. For example, as different kind of topics as English teachers, or they mention some stuff like movies or stuff like that. And also we can practice like that. It's necessary. This skill is really important if we want to speak with someone, or if we want to hear some stuff that is important for us. So, Carlos, what do you think about the video?
Okay, teacher, I think it's necessary to improve our listening skills because we can understand the other person. For example, in my case, I have been learning English in my house, so I have been showed to my students an important series in English. Its name is, give me I review the name. The name is Serie para Aprender Inglés 01. It's very important because the students, when are watching this series, they are very funny. Besides, it's very important because they can improve in their listening skills.
Yes, it's necessary to implement different kind of activities with our students to practice the listening. Some words are difficult or very complex, so we need to check it out, and we need to find different activities for our students. So because they can be confused with some words, so it's necessary and important in the classroom to apply all these kind of elements to help the students to understand different kind of words. Very good, Carlos. Excellent. Laura, how are you?
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Very good, thanks. Laura, do you have homework, really?
Yes.
Which one did you choose? Check. Number 2, really? Tell me about a special day in your life, Laura.
Okay. Especially. Okay. I think that the special day for me was the day that I found my dog, and my dog um is adopted, and we found that in the street, abandoned and lost, and we decide to incorporate our family, and it's dirty, dirt, and he has the tape is broken and is important for us. Now it's very good and is a member of our family.
Okay, very good. Nice history, Laura. I know that some pets are part of our family and they are really important for us. They are like kids in our family. So congratulations. And it's very important this kind of exercise to implement our fluency and try to understand or make some phrases important for us and try to use all our vocabulary. Okay, so now I have another element here to share with you about the topic for today, listening skills. So we saw our 5 steps to improve our listening skills, and now I have another video. This is about English conversation. I want you to pay attention to this conversation, and after we are going to talk about it, okay?
Why don't you lead us off?
Sure. So summer actually starts next week for us when we're making this video. So even though the weather's hot, it's just about to be summer. So my question, if I can kick it off with a question, is summer your favorite season?
No.
Explain your answer.
Okay, my favorite season is spring.
Okay.
It used to be summer when I was growing up in the UK. And that's because that's when we potentially had the best weather. Spring was always chilly. It was never really that warm. But then summer also used to be the time when you had the break from school.
Yes.
You had the break from whatever you were doing at that time, like university, college, what we call college, and school. So I used to love the summer holidays. I used to love them. We did so many fun things. But now I think it's spring. Because it's a lot fresher, it's not as humid, and you have all the period of warm weather ahead of you.
Yeah.
So you start and you say, okay, from now on we're going to have so many months where it's not going to be cold, where we can do things outside, we can go swimming, etc.
So almost like the anticipation of summer is better than summer.
Yes. Yeah, because every week is another week where it's going to get darker earlier. Not really cooler, but you just have less time of that season.
Yeah.
And we're getting very close to the summer solstice, aren't we? It's
Yeah,
going to be
absolutely.
in a week or so. Less than a week.
Less than a week.
Yeah, and this is a time when it's the longest day of the year. What about you?
To be honest, summer, it's the same. Summer has been my favorite season. I would say right now it's not my favorite season because, again, it's just a little bit too hot to enjoy the days outside. Because we live in the south of the United States, it gets up into the mid-80s and beyond. We have a lot of thunder showers in the afternoon. So I think that, it's not my favorite season, but there's just something special about summer, all of the light and the outdoor activities and the food.
Yeah, like what I enjoy about it, and you have to try and make the most of it.
Yeah.
Going swimming.
Yes.
So to find an outdoor pool and just to feel really fresh and cool when it's hot outside. I also like staying out late, like outdoors, so we don't get the opportunity to do this as much these days, but just to sit on the porch, have a cup of tea, or have a beer, listen to the insects, the noises that they make, and just relax. That's what I like about summer.
And around here, we also have lightning bugs. Do you have lightning bugs in the UK?
It's very rare to see one. I remember one time when I saw one, but that might have been on holiday or something.
Yeah.
But no, we don't. Lightning bugs, they're also called fireflies.
Yes.
You can call them both, and they're these little flies that, I guess, what category of insect?
I'm not sure. Yeah, they look like beetles.
Yeah. And they light up. Yeah. And I think about mid-July. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they start in the ground, and then they move up into the trees. And they just flash, don't they?
It's like a light show.
Yeah.
Not the most exciting light show, but I think that it's still just incredible to me, like even as an adult.
Yeah. Just
to watch, it's really exciting. And that, to me, sitting on our porch after dark, watching the fireflies is like the ultimate summer activity.
Yeah. And listening to the crickets.
Yes.
At the same time. But then what can happen is that's when the mosquitoes come.
Yes.
So I think summer is one of those times when a lot of things improve. You can do different things outside, but there are also different kind of problems with the heat and the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
It's the same for every season. There's always going to be advantages and disadvantages to it. Yeah. Now.
So I was going to ask you, or I was thinking too that we could talk about what are some activities for the summer that are really unique to where we live, to Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah. Splashville.
Yeah.
And that's like this, these fountains downtown.
Yep.
That you can see it in movies, don't you? They're not as spectacular as movies, but you have like a flat area with these fountains that spring water out.
Yep.
Is that the right verb to use? Spring water?
Spring water, shoot water.
They shoot water out of the fountains. And the kids and some adults as well, they just go around and enjoy it. And it's a really good way to, take your kids somewhere that isn't a pool, but they can still get that water.
Yeah.
What else is there around Asheville?
So river activities.
Yeah, river.
So you mentioned going out to an outdoor pool. I think what's even probably more typical around here is to find swimming holes.
Yeah.
So if you go out into the woods, and there are places where the river is a little bit deeper, because we're in the mountains and there's a lot of mountain rivers. There's places where the river is deeper and you can actually go swimming, and waterfalls to swim near too.
Yeah.
So it's always very cold and refreshing, and it's just exciting to kind of be out there in the middle of nature.
Yeah.
And explore.
Yeah. No, that's another one. Yeah, the swimming holes. So it's basically like where the river is very quiet and it's kind of like a swimming pool within the river system. Yeah, they're good fun. And also tubing as well.
Yes, tubing.
Yeah. Which is where you float down the river. Are you going to talk about the last time you did it?
Well, we can just say in one sentence, I got a terrible, terrible sunburn. So always remember sunscreen when you're tubing.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, this is a little bit of this video because it's too long and I don't want to spend too much time on it. But, Tito, do you understand the video?
Well, I understand a few. They talking about the seasons. I understood she likes summer and he likes spring.
Yes.
She talk about difference in the seasons. Why the activities he talks in the spring start schools at universities. I don't understand if they speak about the river?
Yes, they speak about some activities to do in the river,
Okay.
and also they start to talk about some mosquitoes and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, very good, Tito. What about you, Carlos? What do you understand about the video?
Okay, you're right, Tito. I really agree with you. I understand in this video they were talking about their favorite seasons. For example, she likes summer and he likes spring. So they were talking about some activities they can do outside when it's season and when it's summer season and when it's spring season. For example, they were talking the most important activities that they can doing in the summer. For example, she was talking about the mosquitoes. Finally, they were talk about the universities when they were going to universities. It's a good time for each season in the summer and in the spring.
Okay, very good. And they talking about fireflies. Do you know what this mean, fireflies?
Mosquitoes.
No.
No, I don't know, teacher.
I think it's luciérnagas
Ah, okay.
because she
Lucierna.
mentions something about that she loves to watch this kind of thing that they have in the, I think, in the summer or something like
Fly. What,
uh,
teacher?
fireflies. Let
Can
me
you write?
Yes, let me share here with you. I think it's luciérnagas, but I'm not sure actually. But I think.
But I think fly is similar to lose. Ah, okay. Fireflies. Okay.
Okay, I think it's luciérnagas, but I'm not sure. Okay, very good, Carlos. What about you, Laura? What do you understand about this video?
Understand that they choose topic to talk about this, and the topic is favorite season. Um, she she said that she loved them. Um, se me olvidó la palabra.
The summer season.
Summer, and he say that the spring, and the reason because because the reason why they love this season and the activities and the way to how they see the different things that happen in this season.
Yes, actually, he mentioned something about he likes spring because it's not too hot and not too cold. So it's the perfect time for him. So thank you, Laura. Okay, very good. So now let me share here with you my screen again. Okay, I think they are. The guy is British and she's like American or something like that. You can see the difference between them and the accents. The British accent is very, I don't know, confused sometimes. So you need to pay really attention, and they start to use different kind of words I will prepare for you a session with the difference between American and British accents. Actually, like the last video mentioned, is really important because we need to start to focus on the accents of each country, because they have really different accents, and of course we need to start to think about these accents, and we can hear conversations in internet, so you can practice these skills, the listening skill. Okay, so this is about native speakers, so pay attention to this video also.
Hey everyone, I'm Tila with Deep English. Thank you for joining me for today's lesson. I'll be giving you a few tips today on how to more easily understand a native English speaker. Not only that, but we'll also learn how to become a better listener in general. So this is a really cool lesson because not only does it improve your English language skills, it also makes you a better listener in any language. And because we spend 60% of our communication time listening, it's really important that we know how to listen. And I don't think very many people are good listeners. And so I think it's really helpful to take a bit of time to learn about how do we become better listeners. Because right now, you're probably retaining about 25% of what you hear when you hear someone speak in your native language. Imagine when you're hearing someone speak in English, that percentage is much lower. So it's worth it to take some time to learn how to understand more easily someone who is speaking in English, who is a native speaker. All right, so let's get started. I'll be giving you 4 different tips today. My first tip is to simply stay present. This is simple, but it's not necessarily easy. So there are 3 ways that I like to use to really stay present. So the first way is that when I'm listening to someone speak Spanish, because this is the other language that I speak, that's my second language, when I'm listening to them speak Spanish, I make sure that I don't over-focus on every word they're saying. So I'm not trying to translate in my head what they're saying. Instead, I soften my focus and I pay attention not only to the words, but also to the tone of their voice, to their facial expressions and their gestures. Because when we tune in too closely to the words, we start to stress ourselves out and we lose the big picture. And sometimes it's hard to follow what they're saying. So don't translate every word in your head. I know it's easier said than done, but try not to do it. So the second way to stay present is to not try to make your response to what they're saying while they're still speaking. So, for example, when I was learning Spanish, I would be listening to what the other person was saying, but I was also trying to create the perfect Spanish sentence in my head to say in response. And this was obviously a problem because while I was creating this perfect response in my head, I was missing a lot of what they were saying. I was especially missing their tone and their gestures. So don't try to create a response while they are still talking. Instead, you have to learn to trust yourself. Trust that when they're done talking, that you'll come up with something, and you will. It will be easier the more that you relax into this. And so that brings us to the third way to stay present while you are listening to a native English speaker. And that is to remember that perfection is the enemy of fluency. Becoming fluent in a language doesn't mean that you speak or understand the language perfectly. No. It means that you're able to communicate with fluidity in the language, and that's it. That you're able to flow when you speak and when you listen. So don't try to be perfect, because the more perfect you try to be, the more stressed out you will be. And when you're stressed, there are places in your brain that actually shut down, and these parts of the brain are really helpful and necessary in communication. So we want to stay relaxed. We're not trying to be perfect. Instead, we're just kind of trying to flow with it. All right, so let's move on to my second tip to more easily understanding a native English speaker. And this one is to make learning English a necessity. So you probably have noticed that when you are in an English-speaking country, you learn English more rapidly if you've ever been in one. Or you probably heard that you learn English more rapidly. And this is true because when you're in a country that speaks the language that you are trying to learn, you learn it more quickly because you have to learn it. It's necessary for you to catch the bus or for you to go grocery shopping. So you have to learn it. The good news is that we can make learning a necessity in our own lives no matter where we live. So there are a few simple ways to do this. Number one, if you can make a friend who only speaks English, so maybe online, someone who only speaks English, so they don't even have an opportunity to change into a language that is easier for you while you're speaking. So an English-speaking friend who doesn't speak any other language. That would be great. That would be a really huge bonus in learning English more quickly and learning to listen. But even if you don't have a friend who only speaks English, there are other ways that you can make learning English a necessity. So, for example, anytime that you are looking for a recipe of something to cook online, instead of Googling it or instead of looking for something in your own native language, why not go on YouTube and look for the recipe on YouTube from an English speaker? And so this way you have to listen to every detail that they say. And so you tune in more quickly and you learn new vocabulary more easily because it's necessary for you to cook a meal. Okay? Let's see, what's another way? Okay, another way. So whenever something breaks in my life, I usually Google it or go on YouTube and I say, how can I repair whatever? So for example, my boot broke the other day. The zipper of my boot broke. And so I went on YouTube and I said, how to fix a zipper. And I watched the video and I fixed it. So the next time that you're looking to repair something, instead of looking in your own language, why not go on YouTube and look in English? And so that you have to pay attention. If you want to wear those boots, you're going to have to learn to pay attention in English to the details. So making English a necessity, I think that one's really important. Oh, and there was one other thing I wanted to say here. If you've ever been on the phone and you've had the option to hear something in English or in your native language, it's really cool to choose the option in English, and that makes you tune in. So if you want to pay a bill and you press, okay, I'm going to hear it in English, you will have to tune in if you want to pay that bill. And so making a commitment to use English for some of the things that you have to do in your life will make English a necessity. All right, my third tip. This one is kind of obvious. Movies, TV shows, and Audible or audiobooks. When I was learning Spanish, I loved to watch a movie in English and then to watch it again in Spanish without any subtitles. And so this way is a really cool way to more easily tune in to a native speaker because you already have the big idea of what's going on in the movie. So you already know what's happening. You know the characters and the plot. So you can tune into smaller details. And in this way, you will tune your ear so that you can more easily understand new words. Another awesome thing that I love to do while learning Spanish is listen to an audiobook of a book you've already read in your own language. So for example, I love Harry Potter books. I know, I'm a nerd, but Harry Potter is awesome. And so because I already knew what happened in the Harry Potter books, it was easy for me to buy the Harry Potter book in an audiobook or on Audible and then listen. And in this way, I was more easily able to tune into the small details, and it made me a better listener in Spanish. You can also just go on YouTube and look for, there's often small segments of books on YouTube in audio form. Or TV shows. Netflix is a really great way to make yourself a better listener, really in any language, but especially in English. All right, let's move on to tip number 4. Listen to many accents. So when I was learning Spanish, I thought I was pretty good with my listening and understanding. I learned Spanish in Ecuador. Then one day I was trying to speak Spanish with someone from Argentina, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. And I was so disappointed. I thought, what? I really thought that I understood Spanish pretty well. Well, I understood Spanish well in one accent, but to really understand another language well, you have to listen to it in several other accents. So for example, listening to English in an Australian accent or a British accent or even a Western accent from the Southern US can really help you to become a better listener in English. One cool tip I have for you here is to think about things that you have a lot of interest in. So maybe you're really interested in soccer. Go on social media or on YouTube and find someone who talks about your favorite soccer team, but with an Australian accent. And then find like 2 more interests. Maybe you're also really interested in doing makeup. So find someone else with maybe a British accent who does tutorials on how to do your makeup. So in this way, you can listen to several different accents and you'll become a really great listener in English. It will be so much easier for you to understand a native English speaker if you've listened to several different accents. Okay, so those were my 4 tips for becoming a better listener and for more easily understanding a native English speaker. I hope this lesson not only helps your English language skills, but also helps you to become a better listener in your own language so that you can show up as a really great friend or family member to the people in your life.
Okay, this is another video with some tips to improve our English listening skills. So Carlos, tell me a little bit about this video, please.
Okay, teacher. She was talking about the 4 ways to improve our listening skills. For example, some is about we can get a friend that he speak only English, but if I hadn't any friend that speak English, we can find different ways to watch videos on internet. For example, shows, news, and so it's very important to review different problems in internet when we can review the different accents. For example, the speaker in Australia, speakers in British, speakers in USA is very important for us because we can become a good listener when we are improving our listening skills.
Yes, it's true. Actually, the accents are really tough and complicated. For example, for me, it's tough when I can make a conversation with a British person because they really, really have a different accent and they use different kind of words that we don't know, for example, and we can be lost. But actually, it's nice when we can practice our skill, our listening with different kind of elements that we can find in YouTube or in our TV or It's a lot of different activities that we can achieve to accomplish that element that is important for us as a for our second language. Okay, thank you, Carlos. What about you, Tito? What do you think about this video now?
Well, I start my conversation with the problems we are present studying English. I consider the translate and we want to the perfection and study alone. The three problems about difficult studying English for us. She explained about make learning speakers and have friends that speak English. Bueno, she.
Tito, I cannot hear you.
Excuse me. I talking with. Oh, okay. I say the problems with students is translate, perfection, and study alone. The two problems about the students at UNAT and especially.
Actually, when we are alone, actually we can practice our skills in English. Even if we are alone, we can practice, for example, this listening, hear some stuff like videos, audios, stuff like that. And she mentioned something important for us that, for example, we can practice with books, audiobooks. This can increase our skills. What else, Tito? What do you want to think? What do you think about the video? Sorry.
Excuse me?
Something else that you want to share with us?
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, remember that we can practice a lot our listening skill with internet. We have audiobooks, we have videos, we have conversations. The thing is just to share or looking for some information. And if we can share with a friend of another country, this will be helpful for us, but sometimes it's kind of complicated to find this person but we need to practice our skills even if we don't know or we don't have this friend, native speaker, or someone else, so we can practice even with our friends of our university, for example. This will help a lot with our skills. For example, these kind of sessions help us to practice our skills. I know with the UNED we have the writing skill very well. We practice a lot because we have to do a lot of different words in different kind of environments. But it's really necessary and important implement the others skills to practice. For example, these sessions will help us with our listening, with our fluency, talking. Even if we make mistakes, it doesn't matter because we are practicing and we are doing different activities to practice our second language, okay? So now let me share again my screen. I have something else. Do you hear new words? Yes, we heard something about fireflies. Sorry, in the first I use Y and is on I. Flies, yes, fireflies is luciérnagas. I share in the internet, okay? So now I have some exercise for you to practice. This is a kind of funny English conversations, and I want you to pay attention to this conversation. And after, we are going to practice a little bit.
Excuse me. Sorry. Do you speak English?
No, I don't. Sorry.
My car's broken down, and I wondered if you could tell me where to find a garage.
Well, you know, that's wasted on me. I don't understand what you're saying.
I don't speak English at all.
Not a word. No. One of those things where I wish I paid more attention in school. But excuse me. Sorry. You speak any English? English? No. I don't know. I can't understand it.
Hi. My car's broken down, and I need to find a garage.
I'm sorry. I don't understand that at all.
All right. Well, thanks.
So anyway, if you go down that way, about half a mile, there's a village. There might be somebody there that speaks English.
Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Deutsch, nein. Sprichst du Deutsch? Deutsch? Nun, ein oder zwei Wörter, aber ich bin nicht fließend. So I'm sorry for your help. Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, you never know. Next time you're over, maybe we'll have learned a bit of English for you. Ja, oder Deutsch vielleicht. Ja, das wäre toll. I can speak English. So can I.
Okay, this is a fun video. Tito, what do you understand about this video?
I'm lost. She asks for them if they speak English, and they say no. It is understand.
Okay, they have fun of her. So, what about you, Carlos? What do you understand about this video?
Okay, teacher. I understand the woman needed a help of anyone, so she asked to him about if she speak English, and he answered her he doesn't speak English. Yes. And then I couldn't understand very well because there was any interference with the speed connection, teacher.
Okay. They make fun about her because she wants some help to put her car in a garage, but they make fun because they know English, but they don't want to help her. So this is the funny video for this conversation. Okay, so
teacher, sorry, can you share us this link?
Yes, I will share the link and the other videos that you can practice also with these videos. They are nice. Actually, this page that you can see here, Fluent Land, have grammar, vocabulary, listening, and speaking. It's a lot of different activities that we can hear or practice here with this kind of links and pages. Okay, so now I have another. This one is also I use to practice a little bit. This is some audios that we can practice, and with different kind of level, basic, intermediate, or advanced. So you can practice And also I will send the link also of this page. So we have here Stephanie House. So this is some questions about comprehension, and you need to check the correct to fill the blank. So I will share this audio. What is the audio? Here. Oh yes.
Hello, my name is Stephanie.
Okay, so I want you to pay attention. We are going to use just the audio and these 5 questions or process. And after, I am going to share with you another audio and the same thing, okay? So hear this audio, and after we are going to check the process.
Hello, my name is Stephanie, and I live in a villa in Spain. We have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a small kitchen, and a nice lounge. The furniture is very Spanish because when we left England, we left all our English furniture there. It's very light and bright. The garden is very beautiful, and we also have a lovely swimming pool. I spend a lot of time in the garden looking after the plants and making sure everything is tidy.
Okay, I will play you again. Pay attention.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, please.
Hello, my name is Stephanie, and I live in a villa in Spain. We have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a small kitchen, and a nice lounge. The furniture is very Spanish because when we left England, we left all our English furniture there. It's very light and bright. The garden is very beautiful, and we also have a lovely swimming pool. I spend a lot of time in the garden looking after the plants and making sure everything is tidy.
Okay, this is the audio. So, the furniture is very Spanish, English, or Swedish? Carlos, what do you think?
Spanish, teacher.
Okay. The second one, Tito. Stephanie kitchen is tall, walled, small.
Small.
Okay. The next one, Carlos. Stephanie looks after the
Plants.
I think plants, yes, plants.
Okay. Stephanie makes sure everything is Tito.
Windy. Windy.
Windy.
Yes.
Next one, Carlos. Stephanie left her English furniture.
Stephanie left her English furniture is in England. And yes, in England.
Okay, let's check it out. Oh. Spanish small plants tidy in England. We have one wrong here. Windy.
Okay.
It is tidy. Tidy is organizado, limpio. Okay?
Okay.
Very good. Okay. I have another here. So this is the basic one. Like you can hear, this is a British accent. Like you can hear, it's a little complicated and tough. But we have another here. Let me check. I'm not sure. I think it's this one. So we have here also 2 questions, but first we are going to listen twice, okay?
Steph, welcome to Mansion Inglés. How long have you been living in Spain?
We've been living here just over 5 years now.
And where did you live before?
We lived right in the centre of London.
Uh-huh. And can you tell us what differences there are between Spanish cooking and English cooking?
Well, personally for me, I find Spanish cooking is much healthier. Their ingredients are much better. They have more flavour and they use a lot of olive oil. So this is very healthy.
I see. And do you think that your cooking has become more Spanish since you moved here?
Yes, because obviously you're used to the ingredients that are available in the supermarkets and also the markets. And it's fresh and has a lot of flavour.
What's your favourite Spanish dish, Steph?
Or I would say paella, because that is very healthy. And I also love the tortilla.
Do you prefer cooking at home or eating out in restaurants?
Well, I love cooking, but I must be honest and say that when you eat out in restaurants, there's obviously not much work there.
So, no washing up, Stephanie?
Exactly.
Okay. And would you like to open your own restaurant one day?
I think now I'm too old, but it would have been very nice perhaps many years ago.
So this is a little bit more complicated. So we need to pay attention, okay? Again, I will play again.
Steph, welcome to Mansion Inglés. How long have you been living in Spain?
We've been living here just over 5 years now.
And where did you live before?
We lived right in the centre of London.
Uh-huh. And can you tell us what differences there are between Spanish cooking and English cooking?
Well, personally for me, I find Spanish cooking is much healthier. Their ingredients are much better. They have more flavour and they use a lot of olive oil. So this is very healthy.
I see. And do you think that your cooking has become more Spanish since you moved here?
Yes, because obviously you're used to the ingredients that are available in the supermarkets and also the markets. And it's fresh and has a lot of flavour.
What's your favourite Spanish dish, Steph?
Or I would say paella, because that is very healthy. And I also love the tortilla.
Do you prefer cooking at home or eating out in restaurants?
Well, I love cooking, but I must be honest and say that when you eat out in restaurants, there's obviously not much work there.
So, no washing up, Stephanie?
Exactly.
Okay. And would you like to open your own restaurant one day?
I think now I'm too old, but it would have been very nice perhaps many years ago.
Okay, this is the audio. And Tito, does Steph prefer Spanish cooking or English cooking?
Spanish cooking.
Okay. I think Laura is here. Laura, did you hear the audio?
Yes.
Laura, tell me this one. What is Steph's favorite Spanish food?
Paella and salad.
Paella and salad? This
Yes.
one? Okay. Let's check it out. She prefers Spanish cooking. This is good. And paella and tortilla. So this accent, again, is British and it's kind of tough. Tito, what else did you hear about this audio?
I'm lost in this audio. It's very hard, difficult.
Yes. Yes. Actually, she's mentioned a lot of different things and the accent is really tough. What about you, Carlos? What do you think about this audio?
They were talking about the favorite dishes to her. For example, she talked about she prefer cooking the Spanish food, Her favorite food is paella. I don't remember the other food. I think it's salad. I don't remember very well, teacher.
No, tortilla.
Tortilla. Okay.
She mentioned something about she wants to cook a lot, and the man asking her if she wants to open a restaurant, but she says that she's really old. So this is an audio really tough and complicated because she's a British and she has this special accent, but it's nice. Okay, so we can practice with this kind of audios. We can see here a lot of different activities to have. I will send this link because I think actually the activities are really nice. And we can see here an advanced audio. So let's check it out. This one. Okay. Oh no, this one is not. I prepared, I think, Amazon traveling. I think it's this one. Oh my goodness, no. I forget which one is. It's over. Let's go. I'm not sure. Let's check it out, this audio. This is an advanced level. So pay attention. I will play twice and after we can talk about it.
Welcome once again to Mansion in Grezinis. You live in the English countryside. Do you have any pets? Yes, Grave, I have one tabby cat called Bo, named after Bo Diddley, the jazz singer. Right, tell us about Bo, Innes. Well, Bo is a bit of a rascal, as it happens. Because we live in the countryside, he does like to wander out in the fields. He's a bit of a hunter, which is a bit unfortunate for the local wildlife, because he usually brings them home to us. Rabbits, mice, a variety of birds, dead or alive. Sometimes dead, but sometimes we have live birds flying around our lounge, which can be rather difficult, but it wakes you up very quickly. So, how long have you had Bo? How long has Bo lived with you? Bo's been with us for about 3 years now. We were a bit concerned the other day, actually. He came home and he was limping, and we'd just woken up and wondered what was wrong with him. He wouldn't be picked up, and we thought at one stage that he'd been hit by a car. He had slight blood on his shoulder, and as I say, had a nasty limp. We put him into the cat box, took him to the vet. The vet said, well, we won't be able to see you for 2 to 3 hours. I said, well, I think Bo's been hit by a car. Can we see someone immediately? The veterinaries rushed around and said, oh, we didn't realise that the cat had been hit by a car. And we finally went in to see the vet. Well, the cat came out of the box, attacked the vet, and well, it didn't. So what was wrong with the cat? Why did the cat attack the vet? Well, absolutely nothing. I think he just wanted some affection that morning, and he's learned that if he lives, everybody runs around after him. And the blood? Oh, I don't know. I think it was probably a dead rat or something. It was all very embarrassing, and the vets threw us out and said, "There's nothing wrong with your cat at all." Could they charge it? Unfortunately, yes. How much? £30. Oh dear indeed.
Okay, this one is a really tough audio, and I want you to pay again attention, and we can comment about it. Okay, so pay attention again.
Welcome once again to Mansion in Grezinis. You live in the English countryside. Do you have any pets? Yes, Grave, I have one tabby cat called Bo, named after Bo Diddley, the jazz singer. Right, tell us about Bo, Ines. Well, Bo is a bit of a rascal, as it happens. Because we live in the countryside, he does like to wander out in the fields. He's a bit of a hunter, which is a bit unfortunate for the local wildlife, because he usually brings them home to us. Rabbits, mice, a variety of birds, dead or alive. Sometimes dead, but sometimes we have live birds flying around our lounge, which can be rather difficult, but it wakes you up very quickly. So, how long have you had Bo? How long has Bo lived with you? Bo's been with us for about 3 years now. We were a bit concerned the other day, actually. He came home and he was limping, and we'd just woken up and wondered what was wrong with him. He wouldn't be picked up. We thought at one stage that he'd been hit by a car. He had slight blood on his shoulder, and as I say, had a nasty limp. We put him into the cat box, took him to the vet. The vet said, well, we won't be able to see you for 2 to 3 hours. I said, well, I think Bo's been hit by a car. Can we see someone immediately? The veterinaries rushed around and said, no, we didn't realise that the cat had been hit by a car. And we finally went in to see the vet. Well, the cat came out of the box, attacked the vet, and well, it didn't. So what was wrong with the cat? Why did the cat attack the vet? Well, absolutely nothing. I think he just wanted some affection that morning, and he's learned that if he limps, everybody runs around after him. And the blood? Oh, I don't know. I think it was probably a dead rat or something. It was all very embarrassing, and the vets threw us out and said, "There's nothing wrong with your cat at all." Could they charge it? Unfortunately, yes. How much? £30. Oh dear indeed.
Okay, Tito, do you understand something about this audio?
It's very difficult. They talk about pets and blood. I don't understand everything.
Okay, very good, Tito. Yes, really, this audio is really tough and hard to hear, but we need to check this kind of audios just to practice a little bit our listening. Laura, do you understand something about this audio?
No, o sea, no, I don't, o sea, como que no se escuchaba bien también. No sé.
Okay, they talking about a pet, like Tito mentioned, and it's about one cat. His name is Bob, and this cat is a kind of I don't know, travieso or something like that. And once he was limping. Limping is he was so the cat they took the cat to the vet, but the vet mentioned something that the cat was okay. So the guy was very embarrassing about it, and the cat was with some blood and stuff like that. But maybe because he was eating a rat. So this is part of this audio. I know it's really tough, and we can feel sometimes confused about some words, but like I mentioned before, this British accent is really tough and complicated. So we need to start to use this kind of audios and practice our listening, okay? So let me share my screen again, and I have here. So Laura, you can read Ines, and Tito, you can read MI. So you can start right now.
Ines, welcome to Mansion English. You are a scuba diver. Can you tell us what happened the very first time you dived?
Certainly glad. The first time I dived, I was nervous. It was in Egypt. I resort Colorado, Nevada, and went down to approximately 20-meter deep, and was a little bit concerned at the depth. We were become a little bit scared. I breathed very heavily and ran out of air.
Oh dear.
Other and 14 years, the instructor I was noticed was in difficult and came over to me and gave her her months to use to air ever whether she was an extremely attractive to Italian lady and had the work legs round to make sure stay safe and calm and ground to the surface with me. It was very much in the food, the end good fun.
Well, that's incredible. Did the things improve, Ines, after this first dive?
I seem to get my confidence back and the driver instructors and to to expect more from me as a driving went on. One particular occasion, they took us down the dirty mirror with the deepest with the ever been. I look my God and could only go to maximum depth of 20 meters when when we went to the 1 meters, it's black up.
Oh dear.
Yes, it was difficult to tell the time from the onwards.
Have you seen any sharks, any Ines?
It's strange that you should ask that. That is one of my ambition in life to shark in the ground. Every time I dive, someone else in the group does see shark. Unfortunately, my eyesight is very poor and I care afterward is did you see the shark? I say no. But one day maybe if I ever get some proper
Well,
places.
good luck with the shark, Ines.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. Peter, what do you understand about this conversation?
The conversation is about structure, a new structure with student Sukuba. The structure asked to Ines with she known about the security of scuba, her breath, and she asked the what did you say, profundidad? Deep, what matters if she in the sea. And the structure asked Ines if she see the shark.
Okay, very good, Tito. And what about you, Laura? Do you hear new words?
Yes.
Which one?
Mount-based.
Okay, can you share with us in the chat, please? So this one is an exercise that I have for you. So you can practice also your fluency, but also your listening. And you can practice paying attention what the others say or mention. Yes, like Tito mentioned, is an instructor, and she is like a scuba, and she mentioned a lot of different details that she has to do when she's swimming or diving. So this is one exercise, but I have another one. So Tito, you are going to be
Okay.
if we have
Harry, welcome to the mansion day. Oh,
sorry. I don't know. Okay, we have here the answers. So you are going to be the answer. We can say mention Carlos. And MI is going to be Laura, just to practice a little bit. Okay?
okay. Carlos.
First is going to be Laura. MI, Laura.
¿Yo empiezo?
Yes.
Okay. Harry, welcome to La Mansión del Inglés. You are a retired man now, but you had a very interesting and varied life. Tell us about some of the jobs you had over the years.
I left school when I was 14 years old. That was in 1946. It was exactly 1 year after the Second World War. I started work as an electrician's apprentice, and after that I went into a selling career. I started selling in the famous Covent Garden fruit market in London. It was very different in those days. The market imported foreign fruits from all around the world. I left the market and joined a canned food company. They were, in fact, the largest packers of canned fruit and vegetables in the whole of Europe. They sold their products to the large supermarkets in England. I was with them for 17 years. I then decided to leave and start up my own business. I bought a shop in Alford and we sold newspapers, cigarettes, sweets, and chocolates. From there, after 5 years, we opened up a sandwich bar which was right at the center of London. We only had that for 2 years. From there, I decided to start up my own business in car here, and it was really interesting. I draw many famous TV personalities, and from there I went to the South African High Commission in London, and I was responsible for leaving the High Commissioner.
Which job did the most enjoy having?
I think possibility the last one driving the High Commissioners because it was very varied and it was different. The people I met were so interesting. For example, I drew Nelson Mandela when he came over on the state visit to England. I also draw many other important politicians, and during the time of High Commission, I met some very interesting people.
And which job did you hate most, Harry?
I think possibility the one in my early life, for instance, an electrician's apprentice, I didn't enjoy that too much. When I first started selling, I didn't enjoy the jobs very much either. It was at the end of my working life when I was driven and came into contact with famous and interesting personalities that I really enjoyed myself.
And finally, looking back on your working life, Harry, is there anything that you would change?
The one thing I would change, and it is a personal thing, and that is that I wish I had studied more at school. I wish I had improved my educational levels, but there were reasons why I had to leave schools at 40. And at the end, I suppose one must look back on their life, and I thankful for what they be done and what they be achieved.
Okay, very good. This is the text that I have here for you. And I think this kind of exercises help us to practice, to speak, to practice our fluency, but also to hear about the main idea of this text. Okay, so these elements are important for us and practice our core skills also. Just with this kind of elements and activities we can practice and we can improve our second language. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope you like this session, Tito and Laura and Carlos, but he's gone now. And I hope to see you in the next session. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, thank you so much, and I hope have a good day and weekend also.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.